I'm from Cleveland.
This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is a time for Avoid the Maze. And every morning when I get up, I have to think about what am I doing today? Am I just on Zoom doing recordings? If that's the case, maybe I only have to dress from here up. But what if I have an appointment in the middle of the day and I need something from the bottom? And who am I going to be talking to? We all have our unique styling. Or there are those of us who look in the magazine and we have to look exactly like that Twiggy model that is in there. But today, Maura Gaughan, did I say right?
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is my guest. And she's a female entrepreneur who started 2 wardrobe styling businesses. And I have to tell you, Maura, I grew up with a mother who was a seamstress. And every time there was an event, she was either sewing for herself or sewing for me.
Mhm.
And I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid because my mother would say to me, "What do you want?" And I would tell her, and I'd show her in the magazine, and she'd go to the fabric store and she'd get a pattern that was, yeah, maybe looks like it. And when I said I wanted it in pink, I got it in orange. And when I said I wanted it in navy, I got it in turquoise. But now I think back to some of those outfits and they were stunning, but I was a brat. I didn't want to wear them. I wanted to look like everybody else. So tell me a little bit about yourself. What
Yeah.
made you decide that this was something that was important?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
actually from Cleveland. Yeah, my whole family is there pretty much, but I live here in DC. So, yeah, I live in DC, and I was a contractor for USAID doing behavior health research. So, and this was up until 2015, but we basically looked at how people accessed health services and what their thoughts were around health services, because that impacts their health outcome and impacts,
Sure.
right? Um, so I did that for a long time and I really kind of got burned out, unfortunately. I mean, it was interesting. I'm a behavioralist at heart, but I wanted to get back to kind of my roots. And my roots really were kind of nested in that arts, creative space. And so when it really came down to it, I wanted to put together what I love about public health behavior research, which is really looking at people's behaviors and better understanding their motivations, what drives them, and what makes them feel really good. And putting that together with my creativity and love of fashion. So it seemed like a really, I don't know, natural kind of pairing, even though it seemed really kind of out of left field for most people. Like, you want to do what now? But I went to Kent State. So, but the funny enough, I actually went to Kent State for anthropology and not art or fashion, which is interesting because they have one of the most, they're actually on the top 10 in the world places for fashion study and their museum. I mean, it's world renowned. So, you should be, very proud.
Well, I mean, fashion is an art, and fashion is something that we all gravitate to, whether it's appropriate fashion or not. Um, and I really had to get that last comment in because yesterday my husband and I went to a baseball game, and it was freezing cold here in Cleveland. The wind was just incredible. And I saw women twice my size, okay, and I'm not small, okay, wearing shorts and midriff tops. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, it wasn't the right weather for it, but it was like,
Right.
what is appropriate and what isn't. And you know what? If they felt comfortable that way, I guess that's okay. Me, I was
Mhm.
wearing two fleece coats, and I had mittens on, and I did not look very attractive, but I was staying warm. So I
Yeah.
just wonder, you know, who identifies what style is?
That is a brilliant core. Style is very individualistic. I think um, it is sort of what you like and maybe what's trending, and then layer on body type. So I always kind of lead with body type because body type, if you know your body type and you can dress towards it, you can kind of adjust what it is that you like. Like if you like an edgier look, or if you like, something a little bit more flowy and boho-y, or whatever. You can have any kind of look and style, but you want it to look good on your silhouette. And so with my clients, I really educate them on how to create a balance. And that's what I really go for. Regardless of body shape, I really try to achieve balance within that silhouette and around the style that people gravitate towards and they like. And I deeply believe that people know what they like, but kind of when you see somebody that's, you're like, oh, they didn't quite really pull that together. It's probably because they're not paying attention to their body type or maybe the fit of the clothes. I'm a huge believer in things fitting properly. So I really try to pull out from my clients what it is that they love and make it work for them in those areas. Fit, because of body type and creating that balance.
And I'm sure many of us, when we look in the mirror, um, we have overactive, messages that go through our head. Um, I remember
Yeah.
going shopping with some of my girlfriends in the past, and them telling me, that, oh, this looks terrific on you, and I can see in the
Uh-huh.
mirror, it's making me look bigger than I am, and that's not
Uh-huh.
what I'm going for. Um, but it was most recently that I had a friend who showed me something that I didn't even realize, and that was all my weight is in my center. It's not below my waist and it's not up top. So it's right in my center. So I was trying to wear tops that flowed more. And she even said to me, she said,
Mm,
you're missing the point. She said, you're making yourself look larger. And I said, well, I don't want
mhm.
anything that clings to me. And she said, no, but something that fits to you. And it took me a
Yeah.
while to figure it out. It's like, if you're going to carry your weight there, no matter how much weight you lose, you're always going to have that roundness. So find out what
Mhm.
is more flattering. And all of a sudden, I started taking all those big tops and taking them to, Goodwill or somewhere, because I
Yeah.
realized that when I looked in the mirror, I wasn't happy with myself. And now,
Right.
like when I look in the mirror, okay, that's who I am. And now let's
Mhm.
dress accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, look, we all of our body types are different, and frankly, we dress with ready to wear, off the rack clothing that's available to us.
Right,
None of us, like back in the day where they went to a tailor or a seamstress like your mother, right? That
right,
really measures those, the important places on your body to make that outfit work for you individually,
right.
and that's sort of a lost art, and we just kind of put on what's available to us and we buy and don't really think about, maybe we could take this to a tailor and adjust it here and here so it fits in the shoulder, it fits in the bodice, whatever it is, because fit, it really makes or breaks an outfit. You can have the most expensive or nicest outfit, but if it doesn't fit you and it doesn't do you any service, then what's the point, right? But we've gotten away from that as a society, and I think everybody should have, anybody over the age of 40 should have or work with a tailor. Yeah, carte blanche, because things aren't where they used to be.
That is very, very true. And even if they are where they used to be, they don't maybe look as perky as they once did. So, so is there? You got that. So for
Yeah.
for women specifically, um, once you hit 40, 50 years old, is there a rule of thumb what you should wear or shouldn't wear?
Yeah. I always find that to be a very interesting question, because I think that as a society we like to kind of put rules and parameters to kind of give us a sense of guidance, and I don't like those. I feel like, you know, you know who you are, especially at 50. Shit, do you want somebody to tell you? I don't know if you can swear on this one. Do you
Yeah,
want somebody to tell you, you shouldn't be wearing this, right? Like, I
right.
think as a society, we should stop kind of telling women what they shouldn't be wearing over it. I just turned 50 on Friday.
Well, happy
So
birthday.
now all of a sudden all my
Yeah,
thank you very much. But like, I don't feel it. And I don't know. I mean, I really have a problem with those things, because I think it really plays on women specifically, our insecurities, and that you should fit in this box this way. I
right.
think women know how they want to look. They want to look put together. They do. Um, that's my personal belief. Anyway.
Well, and I agree with you because, I don't look in the mirror and say to myself, hey, Karen, you're 72 years old. So therefore, your hair should be shorter. You should let it go gray. And there's
Right.
certain colors you should or shouldn't wear. Um,
Yeah.
I look in the mirror and I say, either my hair is too long, and I know when it gets too long, it doesn't make me feel good. So I go in and get it trimmed. The same thing with certain
Yeah.
colors to wear. Um, I know that before my mother passed away, she wanted to see me in red and turquoise and hot pink. In those colors, I
Yeah.
love them, but I don't feel comfortable in them. And as soon as I put them on,
Uh,
um, I feel like I've aged 20 years. So when she would
really?
ask me, why don't you wear those colors? I told her, it's a
Uh,
mindset for me. And what I like to
hmm.
wear, you know, occasionally, I might put on a pink belt, that would excite me with a black dress, but I'm not going to wear a pink dress with a black belt. That's for somebody else. Um,
Mhm.
And she
Mhm.
finally got it because my mother, like I said, was a seamstress. And up until she couldn't sew anymore, um, she made any color. I mean, if today was polka dots in pink, she went out and found the
Yeah.
material and that's what she made. Um, and to me, it would
Yeah.
be like, that's great on you, but not on me.
Well, again, I think people know what they like, and you really want to play to those strengths. As a stylist, I like to play to those strengths, but I also want to educate and push the envelope just a little bit, which is why people do reach out to me to begin with, because they want somebody that has, you know, very objective perspective. I have no history with my clients, but based on the body type, based on your skin, and your hair, I think this would look great on you, and then I would put together an outfit. And 9 times out of 10, people will walk away and say, "My God, I would have never put this together for me," because they see themselves in one light. I see them as something completely different because I don't know them.
Right.
I have no history with them. So I may see them, and their sexy side or their feminine side, or, for a guy, like, I see different sides of a person that they don't see, and I can pull out. And that's exciting to me. And this particularly, so I don't know if we're going to get to this, but so another business I have is called Dating with Style. And this particular um, type of interaction comes through so much when I work with people that are a little bit older, getting out there and dating, don't know what to wear. They're kind of recreating themselves because they've probably been in a relationship for a really long time, whether they're going through a divorce or they've lost a partner, but they're reinventing. And that's super exciting, but it's also really daunting and scary. And so I try to help them through that and put together, things that they love. Again, things that they love and they will look good in, but kind of embracing and celebrating that new person.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I have a friend whose mother, she's probably maybe 20 years younger than I am. And her mother just never changed her style. She sort of adopted her own mother's style when she became a mom. And so she's never really been updated. And her daughter said to her and posted on Facebook, "Mom, I have to bring you into 2022." And her mother said, "Well, what's wrong with the way I look?" And so she posted a picture of her mom, and her mother has this tiny little body. I mean, she's adorable. And but looking at what she was wearing, the pants were baggy stretch pants, okay, not leggings, a flowered top. And she said, "You can wear something similar and I'll show you what." So she took her shopping and she got her mother into a pair of jeans and a different flowered shirt. And her mother now is posting pictures on Facebook all the time because this is who she's always wanted to be and thought she was in those other clothes. So,
Yeah.
I think it's nice when you can have somebody who you can count on, who's not going to take you in the wrong direction, but allow you to see the things that you like. And I know my husband, every once in a while, he'll say, "Come on, let's go shopping." And I'll go, "Why?" And he'll go, "Because all I see you in is black and white, as I am today." And I'll say to him, "Yeah, but I like what I have." "Well, let's go try on some things. Let's see how they look on you. Don't have to buy them if you don't like them." And I love him doing that because every once in a while, I will find something that I can actually look in the mirror and say, "I can wear this color." So obviously that's what you do with your clients, correct? You give them those hints along the way. So how do they find you?
That's a good question. So I'm on Instagram a lot, and I was told that I really need to get on TikTok. I don't know if you're on TikTok. Person's getting on TikTok.
Yeah.
Need to do that soon. But a lot of it is just referrals. I work with a lot of really great people in the area, and they've referred me. But I'd like to expand, and I'd like to get more people that, again, are kind of getting out into the dating sphere and need some guidance, need some help, hand holding, really,
Right.
And I kind of told you this just a little bit, but about 2016, my long-term relationship marriage ended. I mean, I was with the same person for almost 19 years. It was a long time, a really long time, and it ended, and I found myself out in the dating pool, and I was really beside myself. It was scary. I didn't know anything. It was the first time I'd been online dating, and it was really scary. And I felt like, what? Now, granted, I had this sort of style piece down, but everything else was still really daunting. And I thought, if people are even half as scared as I am at this, I can at least help them with the styling piece, and maybe some tips along the way, but to let them know that, somebody is out there and they're not alone, and, just to have fun, really, just to have fun.
Well, and that is really the purpose of this podcast, because so many of us sit around assuming that everybody else is doing it right, we're doing it wrong, or
Right.
we don't know how to make a change because we think, well, if I change something, are my relationships going to stay intact? And I've seen that happen,
Yeah.
women go out and say, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm going to change my hair color, I'm going to change my makeup. And all of a sudden their significant other, their spouse, their friends feel threatened by it. And
Yeah.
to me, that's very sad. If somebody wants to improve how they feel about themselves, um, I'm hoping
Mm-hmm.
that the people around them will accept the changes, because it's important. If you don't feel good about
Mm-hmm.
yourself, then your day, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's you have a dead day. I mean, at least for me, if I don't look in the mirror and find at least
Yeah.
one thing that I like today, my day is ruined. So I'll stand there
Yeah.
until I can think of that one thing.
So I grew up in a house of five boys. There were
Okay.
six of them. And it was little dog eat dog, They were very unkind in a lot of ways. And I find, to your point, and I find that when people make changes, there's always going to be somebody that's going to make fun of them or say something snarky or whatever, but there's always going to be that person.
Yep.
So that shouldn't stop us. Actually, I was reading this book. I just started this book called Social Chemistry. Um, and I wanted to share this with you, knowing
Okay.
that, we were going to have our, but, it's talking about how we get out there and network, and how we, as humans, and I was reading this passage in here where it said loneliness is as deadly as obesity or smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The Surgeon General of the United States has warned that the biggest threat to middle-aged men's health isn't heart disease or obesity, but an epidemic of loneliness. And when I read that, I think about all these people that are a little bit older, getting out there and dating, and just, or afraid to get out there and date,
Right.
because they just don't feel the confidence. They don't feel, and it's just sad, it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, our society has changed quite a bit, and it was changing before the pandemic. The pandemic
Yeah.
didn't help with so many people, not being able to get out and socialize, or those who did wearing a mask, wondering what that person really looked like. And I found that quite strange. On the weekends, I do IT work. And when the face mask was lifted here in Ohio, I walked into work one day and all of a sudden I saw all their faces for the first time. And it was like, oh, that's you? Oh, I had no idea. But I think that has changed a lot of us on how we even look at ourselves. And
Yeah.
it's scary when I listen to the younger generation, the 20 to 30-year-olds, that their life is online. Their dating is online,
Yeah.
because it feels safer.
Yeah.
And I sometimes wonder about that, uh, what are we doing to our society? Are we really enriching ourselves as we move forward?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. And one of the things that I can highlight here has nothing to do with style per se, but online dating is its own form of um, interaction with people, because it takes on its own sort of persona, because when you date online, it's very easy to kind of just dismiss somebody or ghost them or be mean to them, or just not a way that you would treat a neighbor or somebody that you know in a
Right.
social circle. It's a completely different way of treating people that is not nice. It's not nice. And when you are somebody that has not been exposed to that, and all of a sudden now you're online dating and you're thinking, what the heck is going on? Is this the underbelly of our humanity? um, Jolting. It's really jolting. Don't get me wrong. It's online dating was a lot of fun. I met a lot of different people from different walks of life that I wouldn't otherwise have
Sure.
known. And yeah, it's great in that way, but there's also a really not so nice side to it.
Well, and that's like the culture today of um, of employment. You know, interviews now are typically on Zoom or on Teams. Um, and I'm finding, and I have a son who's been job hunting as well as a husband, and they
Mhm.
get those first initial interviews, and
Mhm.
depending on what that person sees, because a lot of times I think in some of the Zoom meetings, we're looking more visually than we're listening. Um, Whereas I
Mhm.
think when there's a face-to-face interview, they take in the whole picture. But as
Yeah.
my son has said, the ghosting on the dating apps is terrible, but he thinks it's even worse on job hunting because it's so easy for them to just say, well, we still have others to interview. And then they click off and
Uh-huh.
be sitting there going, what did I say? And it happened to my
Yeah.
happened to my husband last week. He was sitting here in the studio doing an online interview, and he was laughing, and the person on the other end was laughing. And then all of a sudden, you heard the person say, "Well, we may get back to you." And click, it was off. And I said to him,
We
"It's
may
very,
get back to you. Is that?
yeah, we may get back to you." And I said, if that was an in-person interview, they would have said something like, uh, we'll be making our decision in the next week or whatever. But, and he still hasn't heard back from them. So I have a feeling they weren't interested. But it's a whole different dynamic of, you know, communicating,
Right.
and your look can be totally different. So one of the things I've noticed, and for our listeners, if you use Zoom or um, Teams or any one of those, depending on your internet connection at the time, I'm using the same lighting I use for all my interviews. The last one, there was a much brighter background, same lights, but
Mhm.
this internet connection is not as strong and it's darkened everything behind me. So that's something to take
Mm.
into consideration when you are talking to
Mhm.
somebody that they may not look as vibrant as they really are.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that because I always try to put on, lipstick or something. Like I have a really bold lip on, but on Zoom, it's just like it doesn't look
Right.
bold,
Yep.
but it's a red.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So,
that's
do
very
you see
interesting.
most of your clients one on one in person, or are you still seeing most of them online?
So during sort of the height of the pandemic, I was doing a lot of virtual consultation. Now, at least for local people, I try to do work in person, clean out closets, work with them to put together outfits, do personal shopping for them, and I'll take, you know, items to their house and we can kind of pair them together with already in the closet. But I do have clients that are not in the local area, and we can still work virtually.
Sure.
But yeah, yeah, which is nice. I guess that's the nice thing that Zoom kind of gave us is that ability to connect, like this, where I don't think maybe before we would have done this. I don't
Yeah.
know. How much interviewing did you do outside of Cleveland, virtually before?
So before the pandemic, we were doing about 50% of our podcasts virtually, and the other 50%, either client was coming in or we were going to their location. But I have found that it's much better for me to do it from remotely. Number one, for my client, it would be very difficult for us to be doing this in person today. I don't think I could have gotten to Washington in time. But it, what I like about this is that it it gets to show our listeners um, that we are real people. Okay, we're not putting on ears for them. We're letting them know that we have the same questions going through our mind as they do. You know, am I too old to wear my hair long? Should I be coloring my hair? Should I be wearing a suit? What color looks good on me? Can I wear
Mm-hmm.
stripes and plaid together? Because I see it in a magazine. Well, maybe, but it's not all stripes and plaids can go together.
Yeah.
And
Right.
being able to communicate with somebody and say, I want to be a little more edgy, or I want to be more
Mm-hmm.
conservative, because there are some people who are coming from their real edgy look that maybe it's not for them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what you said in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, that it's not one size, one look fits all.
Yeah. Yeah. I the most mostly what I get is I want to look put together. I get the women that mostly are now in a point in their career where they are making a little bit more money, and can afford to kind of upgrade their look, and they don't want to wear the clothes that they started their career in, the J. Crew skirts or the Banana Republics. They want to have something that's a little bit, you know, more scaled up, and reflects them because, maybe they've had kids, right? And maybe things aren't fitting as they used to.
Right.
Um, but across the board, people just want to look put together, and I help them do that, and I don't do it in a complicated way. Like I really just want it to look effortless and just like another part of an extension of them, because that's exactly what our style is. It is an extension of us. It is telling the world who we are and how we want to show up. And people that go out on dates, if you feel confident and good in what it is that you're wearing, you're not in the back of your head saying, does my butt look big in this?
Yeah.
Like you are right. Like
Yeah.
that age old question, does my butt look big in this? um, you've got that down, and so you really can show up for your date and connect with the person that's sitting across from you in a way that's authentic and that's
Yep.
you, and that so that's what I try to work with my clients. How do you want to show up?
So, how can our listeners find you if they want to, uh, make a change and are just sort of like sitting on the fence right now, going, "I'm not sure what to do."
Yeah. So first of all, you can go to my website, which is wanderingparisian.com. And I offer a free 15-minute consultation. And what that does is allow people to tell me, what it is that they're looking for. And I tell them whether I can help them with that or not, or in what way I can help them. And that way, they don't have to pay anything. We can kind of agree,
Sure.
or kind of figure out what that is. They can also find me on Instagram. So my Instagram is The Wandering Parisian. And I want to also sort of say that I created this free giveaway. It's called The Six Style Struggles When Dating and Easy to Do Remedies. And I created this out of how I saw people showing up on their profiles. What are sort of the six ways in which we can maybe make small changes on our own that are easy before coming to
Sure.
somebody like me, a dating coach. It's almost like a checklist. Like, am I doing this? Am I having pictures that show this? That sort of stuff. So it's sort of a free giveaway, and what I'm going to do is give you a link that you can extend to your listeners. They can just click on it and get it for free. And that's another way that they can see how I work and where I'm coming from. So that, which is nice on their end to
Absolutely.
kind of get a feel for who I am.
Well, I want to
Mhm.
encourage all of our listeners. If you're sitting out there and you're saying, I need a change, to go to the show notes, because we'll have this all in the show notes. So you didn't have to memorize everything Maura was saying. It'll be right there. You'll be able to go to her website as well. Um, I just think it's important that we all understand that the self-talk we have in our heads sometimes
Yeah.
destroys what we're trying to accomplish. Um, I know a couple years back, my husband said to me, I know you like your hair short. Would you please try to grow it out? And I thought, you know what? I can do this for him. But I have a great hairdresser, and I knew at some point she was going to say to me, it's too long. So I knew she was on my
Uh-huh.
side. Uh, but in the beginning, as it was growing out, I kept looking in the mirror like most of us do when we're changing a hairstyle. And I was unhappy. I just didn't
Mhm.
like the growing out part of it. And so
Yeah.
I found somebody who gave me some makeup tips that instead of seeing my hair as much, I was seeing my face more than my hair. And so I've used those
Uh-huh.
on occasion when, I'm having a really bad hair day. And it's like, okay, I have to draw at least my eyes away from my hair. And it makes a whole difference in your personality if what you're looking at makes you feel good. So, if you need to make a change,
Yeah.
contact Maura, read the show notes, um, follow her,
Yeah.
and feel good about yourself. So I look forward to having you back again, and hopefully we can do this one more time. Okay.
Oh yeah. This was so much fun.
Thank
This is
you.
so much fun. And I know that your aim is to help people in their mental health. And I think this is a big part of it. So I'm happy to be talking about it.
Right. Well, have a great day. We appreciate you. Keep smiling. Bye bye now.
All right. Okay. Bye.